said. Georgia was supposed to be invincible at that time.
The odds in Las Vegas opened as high as 17-1 on this fight. The last time we checked a couple of hours ago, they were down to 6-1. Roy Jones the favorite, of course.
And the record for Montell Griffin, we've made a point of alerting you to the fact that he's just as unbeaten as Roy Jones. 26 wins, no losses, no draws, 18 KOs. He says, I don't want my 0 to go any more than he wants his to go away. And now Roy Jones will enter the ring to his own musical composition called Patience is a Virtue. A reminder to him that he wants to be patient in the ring against the crafty Griffin tonight.
I sometimes wonder if there is anything that he can't do. I wonder if he's tried pitching baseball.
You've seen him play basketball on the day of a boxing match. He has other athletic talents as well.
I know you love him, and there's not much not to love about him, Gil, but there are a few holdouts out there who insist that he's a fighter of extraordinary talents, but they want to see him in a real fight, having to face real adversity before making final judgment.
Well, this is about as tough a guy as he can fight tonight. From his past history, it should bring out the best in Roy Jones.
The program under which Jones and Muhammad Ali have been visiting schools together is called Healing. It's the title of Ali's new book, done in collaboration with his biographer Thomas Hauser. And Roy Jones now, in honor of that program, wears the Healing logo and the word itself on the back of his self-designed robe. He writes the music, he designs the robe, he makes up the logo. He's won 34 fights, lost none, and has 29 KOs. World champion at 160, then 168, and now 175. Let's go to ring announcer Mark Barrow for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Before we introduce the main event this evening, it was with great sadness that the boxing world learned of the passing of one of its all-time greats. At this time, we would like you to please rise for a moment of silence and a 10-bell salute to truly one of the great middleweight champions of all time. At age 83, the passing of the Man of Steel, Tony Zale. May he rest in peace. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Trump Taj Mahal Casino Resort on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey, Square Ring Incorporated in association with Gale Promotions, HBO Sports, and Budweiser, the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, this Bud's for You, presents main event, the battle of the undefeated 12 rounds for the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. Ring officials assigned by the World Boxing Council, President Jose Suleiman, Supervisor in attendance, Mario Latraverse. Your judges at ringside are from Buena Park, California, Chuck Hassett, from Barnegat, New Jersey, Barbara Perez, and from Sacramento, California, Terry Smith. Your referee for this event, also from Barnegat, New Jersey, Tony Perez. Introducing now the principals, beginning first in the blue corner to my right, wearing the white trunks, black trim. He weighs 175 pounds. He is undefeated in 26 professional bouts. He has 18 of those wins by way of knockout. He hails from Chicago, Illinois, the 1992 Olympic team member and current WBU light heavyweight champion, Montell. now weighing 175 pounds. He is undefeated in 34 professional bouts. He has 29 wins by way of knockout. He hails from the illustrious Pensacola, Florida. He's a member of the 1988 Olympic team and medalist. He is a former IBF middleweight champion, former IBF super middleweight champion of the world. He is rated by the Bible of Boxing Ring Magazine as the world's best pound-for-pound fighter, the WBC light heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Jones Jr. 12 rounds for the WBC light heavyweight championship of the world.
John, you already got the instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Two things you must remember: obey my commands, and most important, protect yourself at all times. Shake hands. Good luck to both of you.
In summarizing Jones's style, Griffin said he don't want no problems. We're here to find out if Griffin can give him some problems.
Well, I think that Eddie Futch, trained McCallum for his fight, and McCallum's jab really bothered Roy. Just couldn't seem to get himself set, and I think that's what they're planning on doing tonight. Try to get Griffin to overuse that left jab, try to keep Roy off balance so he can't get set for those big punches.
Round one begins. Montell Griffin works off the jab from his low crouching position, and he dominates the early action as he tries to go to Roy Jones's body, and Jones kind of sits back on the ropes to get a look at what Griffin's got. Griffin with a hard right hand to the side of Jones's head. Roy Jones has not thrown a punch so far. Starts with a little left hook. Griffin slightly off balance as Jones attacks him with a left and a right. Hard right hand by Jones. Griffin shook it off and took it pretty well.
And threw a good left hook counter.
I thought that he was off balance in the earlier when he was stumbling around. He hadn't really been hurt. He'd been a little bit surprised, but that last punch hit him flush. Nothing happened.
That amazed me, Larry, because any time early in a fight when Roy catches a guy, either they go or they look so surprised they don't know what hit them. But
he is a natural light heavyweight. Gil, let's keep that in mind. Roy Jones is a natural middleweight. Griffin has never fought at any weight except light heavyweight.
Montell iced Griffin with the name of his wife, Troy, on the left leg of his trunks, and his children, Montell II, son, daughter Berea, on the right leg of the trunks.
And again, Griffin is carrying that left hand very, very low, and Roy Jones thought that he could take advantage of that by nailing him with right hands.
And if you think that Roy is being too cautious in round one, remember, the rubric for the fight is patience is a virtue. He wants to get Montell Griffin going as a counterpuncher. He says, I want to lead a little bit, make Griffin counterpunch me, and then counter his counter.
Well, that's always been Griffin's forte. Anytime he gets in an exchange, it could be even, that he finishes it up with that left jab as he just did then.
Jones allowing Griffin to attack him to the body, and Montell got in a couple of very good shots to the Jones ribcage. Both fighters trying to get a good look at each other and each other's unorthodox styles here in round one. Griffin making Jones miss over the top. One of his strengths, being able to crouch, duck, slip, move his head at just the right moment to make the opponent miss. As As Roy Jones entered the ring, he was gesturing to another light heavyweight titleist seated at ringside, Virgil Hill of North Dakota. He is the obvious next opponent on the horizon for the winner of this bout, or the horizon, I should say, for the winner of this bout, regardless of whether it is Griffin or Jones. Didn't see whether Montell noticed him, but Roy Jones walked right past him into the ring and was gesturing at him, and Hill gestured back.
When he's trying to entice you to come in, slide in, and feint.
Right. Keep feigning. Keep feigning.
Get him against the ropes. Use those combinations that you're using. But when you come out, don't come out standing up straight. Come out low or go to the side, one side or the other, okay?
All right. Another visitor here tonight, Evander Holyfield.
Roy Jones with an uncharacteristically low punch output in round number 1, as he took most of the round to try to feel out Griffin and his unusual unorthodox style. Griffin landed more punches in round 1, and we'll wait and see what happened on the scorecards.
That Roy Jones left hook is like lightning.
But his left jab is like a glass of water.
Well, right now, again, Larry, he's jabbing short. He's not committing himself with that jab.
Never know exactly what's in Jones's tactical mind as he goes into a bout.
Well, we had mentioned that he might try to out-jab Griffin, but he is jabbing a lot, but he's not hitting anything.
He's throwing an 18-inch jab against an opponent who's 36 inches away.
Two natural counterpunchers going against each other. It'll be interesting to see which man can force the other one to lead, if either.
Jones has to get a little closer to try to really snap that left jab in there and score some points with it. So far, it's just a showcase. Not doing anything with it at all.
Yeah, he has no chance of landing the jab from that distance. Now he steps in and lands a right hand over the top, and Griffin comes back with a counter left of his own.
And now Griffin is talking to Jones. He's taunting him.
Well, I think it's safe to say that these two fighters don't like each other. In fact, after the weigh-in yesterday, Roy Jones had his phone shut off and told his trainer, Alton Merkerson, "Don't try to reach me. I have an attitude."
You can see both fighters really respect each other. A lot of feinting, not too much punching. The one is, oh, good left hook by Griffin. Good left hook.
The pro-Griffin contingent in the crowd whoops it up as their man lands that hard counter right over the top, or left hand over the top, against the Jones right. More Griffin cheering, as he seems to have landed the more significant shots here in round number 2. Quick left hook landed inside for Jones as he stepped in.
All right, your jab working good. Just keep working. Just keep working. When you get on the ropes, don't square off too much. Feed him your left shoulder. Feed him that left shoulder and try to give him some water on his head. Try to turn that right uppercut under to his chin and come back to the head with a hook. Okay? Okay? That's good. Just don't square off too much in the rope. You're all right. Give him that small lane, give him a right uppercut hook, then come on out. When he turns, put it on his head. When he turns, be there waiting on him, catch him with something, okay?
This has been a tactical fight with spurts of action like this. There you see a big sweeping left hand. Later on in the round, again, you see Griffin landed a nice right hand, comes on the attack. There hasn't been a significant light heavyweight fight, I don't believe, in 16 years right here in Atlantic City. Michael Spinks, Dwight Braxton. This one doesn't have the hype that that one had going into it, but it may be developing into a significant light heavyweight fight.
No, Larry, in Griffin's corner, I noticed they were massaging his arms after the first round as well as after the second round. I believe you should let a fighter rest between rounds. Put his hands in his lap and let him just rest. By them moving those muscles like that, I don't think that's going to do Griffin any good later on in the fight.
But by CompuBox numbers in the first 2 rounds, although Jones has thrown many more punches, 89 of them, Griffin has landed more, 29, landing at about a 50% rate. And it wouldn't shock me if somewhere in the house there's a scorecard that has Montell Griffin winning the first 2 rounds.
Well, there's one right here.
Big left hook by Griffin. Big left hook. Caught Jones with his chin up in the air.
And you see Roy Jones flinching in the middle of the ring as Montell Griffin feints at him with the left. Griffin's people said Jones doesn't like to fight, and we're going to make him fight.
Well, that certainly got Jones' attention, no question about that. And Griffin, ice on his trunks, and he's fighting like he has ice in his veins. I can't understand Roy Jones with that 18-inch jab, as you mentioned. He's not even coming close with the left jab.
And you heard Alton Murkerson tell him between rounds, your jab is working.
Yeah, I don't understand what it's working on. Tony Perez doesn't have a mark on him, and he's not hitting Griffin with it either.
By Bunchstat numbers, Jones landed 2 of 45 jabs in the first 2 rounds. Keep in mind that Montell Griffin has in his corner the legendary Eddie Foote, who trained 2 different fighters to upset wins over Muhammad Ali. And Foote said, hey, Ali was great, but he had a couple weaknesses. Jones is the same way.
Well, what Jones has is that big one punch, though. He can change a fight around with one punch.
Well, he's going to have to step closer to do that, Gil. He can't stay back at this distance and allow Montell to step in on him and dominate the action the way he has in the last couple of rounds and expect to do damage.
No question about it. Jones, I don't know what kind of fight Jones is fighting. If he's waiting for the one big punch, he could be making a mistake. Griffin could be putting these rounds in the bank.
Well, Griffin is giving Jones problems.
Coming. Yeah. Get him something on to you. Keep coming. Start playing down. My head. Start playing down the stomach a little bit. See what it'll do. See what it'll do. You might really land something up top. Okay? On the jabs high now. Just drop it down. Feint down. See if it dropped them hands. Try to set your hook up now. He's closing the gap up a little bit. That's good. That's good. Get your butt out on the ropes. Don't get too straight up so you can get some leverage on your shot. That's good. Okay? So you can So you can get some leverage on the
Once again, the significant punch landed in this round by Griffin.
Some of us might not have thought we'd ever see a CompuBox number that indicates Roy Jones landing 10 punches per round in the first 3 rounds. Anemic numbers for Jones against Montell Griffin. Throws 4 more jabs to begin this round, none of them anywhere near Montell Griffin's face.
He has never liked to commit to the jabs because he is so defensive-minded. He doesn't want problems. He is able to fight like nobody else fights because of those amazing reflexes and his strength. It's almost like he throws few body punches, few meaningful jabs. It's almost like talking without verbs and nouns, but he's gotten away with it up to now.
But if he does this for 12 rounds against Montell Griffin, he's liable to watch his 0 go away. So something will have to change for Roy Jones in the next few rounds as he continues to develop this fight plan if he's going to have a chance to win.
Well, number one, if I was in Jones' corner, I'd tell him to start showing the jab to Griffin, but then throw good, solid left hooks to the body, and then bring him up to the chin. But that's another thing that Jones does not like to do. He doesn't like to really drop down and throw those body punches.
Now, on the other hand, Gil, Montell Griffin has found 3 or 4 opportunities to land big left hooks. So he's solving something about Roy Jones's right hand.
Yeah, and also, anytime that Griffin has a chance to flurry when he has Jones on the ropes, he'll bang him with a few good, solid body shots. But Jones, I don't know what he's waiting for.
When he fought cautiously in the closing rounds against Mike McCallum, a lot of people said, well, okay, Roy carried McCallum because of his respect for the aging fighter. But his critics, those who aren't overwhelming Roy Jones fans, said, my God, if he had that much fear of McCallum, how's he going to treat Montell Griffin?
Well, it would seem to me that very strange if he had any fear of Mike McCallum, because McCallum really hasn't got any power, or no longer has any power. But there's Griffin again. When he gets the guy on the ropes, he's hustling and scoring points. That's exactly what he did to beat Tony. He out-hustled him in the rounds that were close. There's the first solid jab that Jones landed.
Griffin scoring in close. Roy Jones not scoring when Griffin bangs him against the ropes. It's been the kind of fight that Montell Griffin might have dreamed of so far. "20 seconds left in round 4, and no sign that Jones is going to open up and begin to shed this shell of caution anytime soon. Meanwhile, Montell Griffin gaining in confidence with each passing minute. And Griffin rakes Jones to the body again as round 4 comes to a close. Join us tomorrow night and next week for Sports on the Silver Screen here on HBO, an HBO sports special that features nearly 200 sports movies over the past 100 years of cinema. From Newt Rockney to Brian Song, The Babe Ruth Story to Field of Dreams. Sports on the Silver Screen presents the most memorable moments in sports movie history. Saturday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern and Pacific.
As long as he lay back like that, just touch him with some jabs, man. Just touch him.
Bothered it, man. See what I'm saying? The feints bothered. But if you step back, you give it up. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Just hold it. Make him earn everything you get. And keep your right hand high in the process. Okay? Okay?
Well, if you were with us at the beginning of the evening, you heard Roy Jones boast in our opening tease. I've been playing with my bag of tricks, and Confucius says Griffin won't see 6. We're in round 5 now. Harold Letterman, how do you score it so far?
Jim, 3 rounds to 1. 39-37, Montell Griffin. Jim, I gave Roy Jones the first round because he hit Montell with a right hand that made me go ouch. But after that, Montell's driving him into the ropes, landing those solid shots to the body, and really winning those rounds by out-punching Roy. I think Roy's throwing that short jab to sucker Montell into punching, and Roy can hit him with a counter right. But I'm surprised Roy doesn't step in and give him angles. That's what he's not doing.
Well, stepping in would require taking a risk. Jones begins to move forward just a little bit, but still with an attitude of caution.
I don't know for how much longer patience can be a virtue, which is how he termed this fight, Roy Jones.
Now Griffin has that left hand right down around his hip. And that's when Jones said he could take advantage of that with a straight right hand. But again, Larry, he's being overcautious and he's really not letting anything happen.
But you know, both of these fighters were taught how to fight by their fathers at very young ages. So they're both ring wise. And this stance by Griffin is trying to make Jones punch him with the right hand, but he's not there to be hit that easily.
Jones up and under with the left hand, one of his better punches of the fight.
I woke Griffin up a little bit because he was starting to get a little fall asleep a little bit.
Yep. The Jones contingent in the crowd whooped it up for that one. But the math of this is pretty simple for the supposedly unbeatable Roy Jones. If at some point in the fight you get 5 rounds down, which isn't out of the realm of possibility here, then you got to win all the rest.
Ball scoring knockout. Good right hand by Jones. Didn't move Griffin at all.
Griffin ducked right into it, which indicates that maybe Jones is starting to size up his moves.
Another right hand and a quick left by Roy Jones.
And a good counter by Griffin. Good left hook counter.
Griffin has certainly gotten Jones's attention with those body punches. You can tell that Roy Jones doesn't want to feel Griffin to the ribcage anymore if he can avoid it. This will be ruled a slip by referee Tony Perez.
Oh, it certainly was a slip. No question about that.
Yep.
I think Roy Jones was hoping for something more. He started to raise his arms, maybe trying to influence the judge, but Tony Perez has been around a little bit too long for that.
Tony Perez refereeing. His wife Barbara Perez seated at ringside in the middle of your screen back there, one of the judges for the fight.
Way to work. All right, his reflexes. Reflexes slowing down a little bit now. You gonna be able to hit this turkey in a minute.
Oh, he on my head, sir.
Get it on his head. You gonna be able to start hitting him in a minute. Way to work. Way to work. We're doing good. Way to control the fight, baby.
against you.
Just don't let him. Yeah. No, just don't let him sit back. Don't let him sit back. Keep something in his face. Always keep the action going.
The graphic shows you
He's slipping
which
up
man
now.
is fighting his fight
You
tonight.
start hitting him with some stuff now.
Shot him.
Yeah, it's time to work now, baby.
Keep that right hand high. Keep that right hand high. You throw the right hand in the body, you try to make you forget about the left hook. So you keep your right hand high.
Okay. He's trying to find something to work. Okay. Come on, let's go out.
Confucius was wrong. Griffin will see 6. Hot, humid night in here. Grand ballroom at the Trump Taj Mahal. Both fighters.
Every time Jones stays against the ropes and allows Griffin to throw those body punches, it's scoring points for Griffin. Good left hook by Griffin. Jones nailed him, but Griffin nailed him right back. Out-punched him.
Jones using some of the stuff that has dazzled previous opponents. Griffin eating it up right now.
This really has Jones' attention now. Got nailed with some pretty solid shots. Good right hand by Jones.
Jones starting to use the straight right hand lead a little bit more often as Griffin continues to work with that left hand held way down.
Right now, Jones is starting to get a little wild, and Griffin is still composed.
Jones is going to have to get a little wild if he's going to improve those punch stat numbers and work more damage against Montell Griffin physically.
Well, he's going to have to change his strategy and start to throw some body punches, set up his other punches.
Hasn't done anything in the fight so far to wear Griffin down and take away his steam. Griffin leaning on Jones against the ropes, working him to the body when he gets a chance. Jones getting pushed around physically in a way that he cannot enjoy.
Jones is trying everything in his bag of tricks, and nothing is working thus far.
And as Montell said to us, hey, I grew up in the gym. I'm not going to be thrown off by any of his tricks. I've seen all that stuff since I was 5 years old.
Not too many, though, have seen all the tricks that Roy Jones has. I mean, he's a special talent. But what he's doing now, I don't know.
Jones with a blistering combination using his incomparable hand speed. Griffin backs out, waves his right hand, and goes back to work with the left. Jones leading with the right hand more and more frequently to take advantage of Griffin's low left. Another right hand lead, just missed.
This figured to be a tactical fight, but a real fight is breaking out.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Wait, right here, baby. Get some water. Got my head. All right, let's take deep breath. Just keep doing, keep it like that round. Keep it like that round. That's beautiful. Way to turn him. Way to turn him when you hit him. You try the same thing.
Round 6, the best so far for Roy Jones, but here's a look at some of the damage that Montell Griffin has been able to do during the fight. Throughout the early rounds, Jones backing up into the corners, allowing Montell Griffin to go at his body and often to land left-hand counter shots upstairs. And then Jones having to take more and more chances as the fight progressed to try to get inside and turn some of the tide against Montell Griffin. But so far, it's been like a dream for Montell, who's had much the best of it against the unbeaten Roy Jones. And we go past the halfway mark.
I can't understand Jones. I still can't understand that jab. Not only he's not reaching Griffin, but he's jumping back when he throws it.
Gil, I don't think he's ever been an exponent of the jab because he's always looking to play defense.
Jones looking down and winking at Harold Letterman and talking to Larry Merchant as he tries to work against Griffin while Griffin leans in on him.
Well, I better start winking at Griffin. Good left hook by Jones.
Right hand and a left by Jones. One of his better combinations of the fight.
But you can just see Griffin bristle when he gets hit with that punch. I mean, he may feel the punch, but it brings up his competitive juices.
Well, it becomes clear that in the light heavyweight division, it's going to take accumulations of punches for Jones to knock people out. He's not going to be able to do it with 1 or 2 punches at a time the way he did at 160.
Well, again, Jim, it depends on the opponent. He's really not hitting Griffin that solid. He's moving a little bit with all the punches. He's rolling. Even when Jones lands those right-hand leads, it's a little movement from Griffin. It's taking some of the sting away from it.
Midway through the 7th round, now Jones stepping back into that cautious stance that dominated his earlier activities in the fight.
You see, he's shaking his head that the punches don't hurt, but they're scoring points.
And when they're in this position, Griffin throws more and lands more to the body than does Roy Jones.
There's where he should be throwing that left hook. Right down there to the body. That'll set up everything else.
Well, you saw him feinting with the right hand and the right shoulder and then throwing the left hook to the body.
And there's again Griffin flurrying.
Griffin's robe wore the inscription, "Shock the World." His white trunks with black trim. And there's a knockdown. Quick left hook inside. Second time in his career Griffin's been down. He wanted it called a slip. Perez calls it a knockdown.
He was off balance, but it was a legitimate punch that put him down.
I have to see that again. I do not think that was a clean knockdown.
I think it was a knockdown, Gil, just because it was a punch.
Well,
that
I'll have to see it again.
Exchange.
I'll have to see it again. He certainly wasn't hurt by the punch. That's for sure.
He wasn't, but he ducked away from one punch and caught the other one coming in, I thought.
And if it gave Roy Jones a 2-point round, it could turn out to be a critical moment in the bout.
Stay out of this corner. It's real wet over here, Roy. Don't work in this corner. Get him back. Get his back, too. Way to go. Talking double fights.
Okay, let's see what we saw. Any different? Ducks away from the right hand there. The left hand put him straight on the canvas.
Yes, sir. I agree now. It was a legitimate knockdown. Clean, short little left hook on the inside.
He leaned back from the right hand, and Roy was there with the left.
Right.
Watch this. Lean back.
And you can see Griffin didn't have a foot behind him.
Yeah.
And down he went. Goes to show you the power and strength of Roy Jones.
Well, and here's how significant that knockdown could be on the scorecards. That was one of only 8 punches that Jones landed in the round by punch stat numbers. Just suppose that he got a 2-point round out of a round in which he threw 28 punches and landed 8. That would be extremely fortunate for Roy Jones. And you see the damp spot in Jones's corner where Alton Murchison told his fighter, don't go to work here. Jones himself is drenched as he waits for Montell Griffin to join him in the center of the ring for round number 8.
Wait.
He has come on in the last 3 rounds, Jones.
Go.
This is what champions are supposed to do.
Timekeeper can't get his stopwatch to work. Now they dispense with the stopwatch and just go. Not sure how we'll time the round as timekeeper continues to work to try to get his stopwatch going. Harold Letterman, did you give Roy Jones a 2-point round in the 7th?
Jim, you had to. You had to go along with referee Tony Perez. But let me tell you something. There is no water in a neutral corner. And a neutral corner is basically dry. Fighters don't sit down in a neutral corner where they pour water on them. So Montell Griffin got hit with the shot, and he went down. I've got it 67-65. 4 rounds to 3. Roy Jones shoots.
I have it 4 rounds to 3 for Griffin, but it's an even fight on my card because of the 2-point round.
I'm in line with you, Larry. I have it 4 rounds to 3 Griffin and an even fight if you want to count that knockdown a 2-point round.
So if you go along with Larry Merchant and Gil Clancy, it's an even fight coming to round number 8. And it would be an even fight only because Jones got a knockdown in a round in which he landed 8 out of 28 punches. Those are anemic numbers when compared to the kinds of numbers he's put up throughout his career. Montell Griffin has Roy Jones thoroughly befuddled in here with his style, and Jones is hoping that with his extraordinary skills he can find a way to do enough damage down the stretch to win the fight.
And strength. Roy Jones is a very, very strong individual.
Well, so's Montell.
Yes, he is. No question about it.
James Toney clearly underestimated Montell Griffin in their first fight.
Good stiff jab by Montell Griffin.
Roy Jones fires a right across the top and then immediately covers up, and Montell Griffin bashes him with a counter left.
But also Montell Griffin moved Jones with his shoulder first, which was a foul. And then he nailed him. Really nailed him.
Some of the best punches of the bout have been counter left hooks by Montell Griffin. And I'm told that there's a swelling around Roy Jones's left eye, and indeed that's true. There's a mouse under Roy Jones's left eye that's not unlike the mouse that Oscar De La Hoya collected a couple months ago against Miguel Angel Gonzalez.
This is where Montell Griffin scores his points.
Yep. When Jones backs up into the corners, Griffin just rakes him to the body. There's another good left to the body there by Montell Griffin. Griffin takes a close look at Jones's swelling eye and warms to the task as he tries to focus on that target.
Good left hook.
Okay, time.
This is, beyond any doubt, the most competitive fight Roy Jones has ever been in as a professional.
If I was in Roy Jones' corner right now,
Don't give it up.
I'd use an expression I used to use with my fighters. I'd say, Roy, the ropes are hot. If your back touches the ropes, get off them immediately, because that's when he's giving rounds away. When he stays against those ropes and he allows Montell Griffin to punch.
The damage.
There's the
to Roy's
shoulder.
eye.
There, did you see that shoulder that Griffin used to move him and then nail him with that punch? That's a foul. Watch it again. Watch that. There's the shoulder.
It was like with almost with a forearm, I thought, that he pushed him off. But it's a very clever maneuver, one that only a kid that spent a good part of his life in the gym would know about.
That's correct.
Punch-stat numbers through 8 rounds tell a tale of a brewing upset by Montell Griffin. He's landed 130 punches to 92 for Jones. He's landed at a 47% rate to 28 for Jones. He's landed 61% of his power shots, many of them to the body. How much does Roy Jones have left as Griffin goes to his body one more time?
And again, Jones doesn't even try to counter. There's that short left jab again, Larry.
Griffin is just ignoring it because he knows it's not coming at him. He doesn't even blink when he throws it. It's like shooting a blank cap pistol.
Jones nailed him pretty good that time. Jones nailed him with a good left hook again.
Griffin's still there. That was one of Roy Jones's better flurries in the bout. Montell just goes back to waiting patiently for him at the center of the ring and waits for Jones to back up into the corners where Montell has done so much of his damage. There it is. Jones goes to the ropes. Montell goes to the body. This is not a case of Montell Griffin forcing Roy Jones into the ropes and the corners. Jones is going there himself.
And that's why I said if I was in the corner, I'd tell him stay away from the ropes.
You know, Gil, to the average fan, it doesn't sound like much when a fighter moves up from, say, 168 pounds to 175. Can it, in fact, be a world of difference?
Oh, there's no question about it. Look at Roberto Duran, who's one of the greatest lightweights. Big right hand by Jones. Big right hand. And Griffin is hurt. No question about it. Griffin is hurt.
Jones looking to finish. Griffin wobbling a little bit. Jones comes in and lands the right hand lead again. And a couple of left hooks. And Griffin's knee goes down. And Jones lands 2 punches after Griffin's knee was on the canvas. And now Griffin slumps forward. And Tony Perez starts the count.
That was a foul. I don't know if Perez would call it.
Question about it. 2 punches while he was down. Not 1, 2.
And the doctors are in there with Montell Griffin, who took those 2 blows with his knees on the canvas. And that was the difference between a knockdown and a knockout, or so it appeared from here.
It was a definite foul.
Foul.
Harold Letterman, what's the rule?
Jim, in my mind, there is absolutely no question that Tony Perez had just cause to disqualify Roy Jones Jr. should he have made that decision. I mean, it's the referee's call. In my eyes, absolutely he fouled him. Griffin seemed to be down on 1 knee, and Jones knocked him out when he was on the floor.
You know what?
Perez could have disqualified him.
Let's take another look. Griffin goes down from an accumulation of punishment. Now he's down.
He went down voluntarily. That's why Jones was a little bit mystified.
Oh, there's no question that Jones. You remember the Riddick Bowe Mathis fight when they.
All right, here's another look one more time at the finishing flurry.
This was very, very flagrant, no question about it. Very flagrant.
We are being told that Roy Jones is going to be disqualified and will lose his title.
New Jersey State Commissioner
I don't think
Larry
they have any
Hazard
other
is in the ring.
choice. They have no choice.
Can they overrule the referee?
Well, Hazard is the most hands-on commissioner in the country, no question about it. He's the one guy who's in chairman of a state commission who will get into the ring and confer with his referees about every decision they make. Now, this decision, at least in the eyes of Tony Perez, has already been made. The question is whether that man right there, Larry Hazard, is going to reverse it. What do you think, Gil?
What did Tony Perez do? Did he say it was a knockout?
Tony Perez waved his arms to the side as if to indicate that the fight was over by knockout.
But did he give it to, in other words, he thought Roy Jones won the fight? No.
Larry Hazard has just told us that a disqualification is coming.
Oh, there's no question about it, Jim.
Now, that's where he hurt Montell Griffin. At this point, Griffin is wobbling and ready to go if Jones can get at it. And here's the last flurry. And watch Griffin voluntarily put his knee on the canvas to try to take a count here. Whether it's voluntary or not, he's going to put his knee on the canvas. And there it is, knee down.
Now there's plenty of time.
Two.
No question about it in my mind. Definite disqualification.
The second left hook. A fierce punch delivered while Montell Griffin faced Roy Jones with his knee on the canvas. This is every bit the same thing as Riddick Bowe against Buster Mathis Jr.
This is worse. With Bowe was only one punch, and it was almost the end of a combination. Roy had plenty of time to set himself and go over to the neutral corner. Now look, he has all the time in the world. He's looking at the guy while he's down. Nails him 2 more punches.
Hard to imagine what Roy was thinking when he fired that left hook, because he knew the man was down. He should have been able to see that his knee was on the canvas. Let's go to ring announcer Mark Barrow for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 2 minutes, 27 seconds of the 9th round. The referee disqualifies the red corner. The winner and new WBC light heavyweight champion of the world, Montell Griffin.
Well, you can see the conversation taking place there between Jones and Griffin. And certainly the right decision has been made here. If ever there was clear ground for a disqualification, Harold, Gil, that was it, right?
Jim,
No
yes,
question.
but I want to tell you something. I honestly believe he faked it. Now, you watch Montell Griffin after he got hit with that hook. He looked up at Perez and then went down on his face, and he stayed there as Perez.
But Harold, the rule doesn't talk about whether he was damaged by the blows after he was down. The rule only says that you don't hit a man after he was down.
Absolutely, but
He
I
didn't
want
have to fake anything to force the disqualification. Did he, Harold?
No.
Okay, let's go to Larry Merchant.
All right, thank you, Jim. Roy, can you tell us what you think happened on the knockdown, knockout, disqualification?
I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. The referee told me before the fight that it's no standing 8 count. So I hit him. I knew he was weak. He was going down. I thought he went down, but the referee didn't come, so I didn't know if he come back at me or not. So I bounced back. I hooked him again. I bounced back. The referee still didn't come, so the referee said no standing 8 count. So I ain't looking at his knees. I'm looking at his face.
So you're saying that first, because the referee had said no standing 8 count, you thought that because Montell seemed to go down on one knee of his own volition, that he wasn't really knocked down?
No, I really didn't know if he was going down, if he slipping or coming back at me or not. I can't stop. If I stop.
So, and you're saying, Roy, that the referee never came at you and tried to separate you?
I didn't feel the referee trying to separate me one time. I'm sitting there. If you show it back over, I'm bouncing. Wait, all you got to do is touch my left arm and I'll stop.
Let's take a look at the knockdown and the knockout. All right, here it is. You describe what you see.
Right here. I know you hurt, right? I'm trying to find me a good shot. I thought he slipped, but I didn't know if he coming up or what. I don't want to hit him, but the referee got to stop me, you know? I don't know what happened, and the referee ain't stopped me. You know, and I know he's down, but I don't know if he's down, if he's low or what. I'm just trying to finish the fight. The momentum is going. I feel like it's a good fight. I want to capture, and you know, I'm at him.
All right, let me add this then. Are you suggesting that because Griffin is a guy who fights low, who ducks down a lot, that you weren't sure that he was knocked down?
I didn't know if he down. If he come up off one knee and hit me and knock me out, the referee gonna count me out. So the referee said no standing 8 count, so I got to try to put him on his back. That's why I consider down. I know he went to his knee, but I didn't know if he was on his knee for sure or what. I ain't got time to stop and say, well, let me look and see if he's on his knee. I got to do what I got to do. I'm still champion as far as I'm concerned. Montell was a good fight, you know what I'm saying? He's a good fighter. I can beat the kid. He cannot beat me. Everybody see that. I mean, they want to disqualify me to take my title. That's fine. You know, I can deal with it. I got stole. Gold medal got stolen from me. I don't mind. You know?
Up until the last few rounds, he was giving you a lot of trouble, and you came on.
He's a counterpuncher. A short counterpuncher gonna give you trouble. But I know I had him. I know I had him weak. I had him out of it. I said, yeah, now I got him. I caught him with the right hand. Boom, there he is. I know I got him. What?
Did you get overeager, Roy, because of all the frustration you were having with him?
Not necessarily the frustration. I was eager because I want a good, exciting knockout. I want to get me a knockout. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I mean, if you want a rematch, you get a rematch. If you don't, I can't make a fight. I don't cover spill milk. I fought a good fight. I didn't lose. Nobody ain't beat me yet. Disqualification, I can take that. Ain't nobody gonna beat me.
Do you want a rematch?
he probably gonna fight me no more, man. The kind of heat I put on it, man, come on. I mean, I'll take a rematch at a heartbeat, but he probably won't want to fight me no more, you know? I mean, you know, that's how stuff go. That's life.
That's life, but that ends the feeling that you had that you were an unbeatable great fighter.
No, it doesn't, because I haven't been beaten. I got disqualified.
Thank you very much, Roy.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to you, Jim.
Well, let's take a look at the official scorecards to show you how the fight stood through the first 8 rounds. Interestingly enough, Roy Jones was ahead on 2 scorecards, behind on Barbara Perez's scorecard. She, the wife of referee Tony Perez, through the first 8 rounds. So obviously at this point, Gil, the fight was still up for grabs.
No question about it. The fight was up for grabs. It looked like Roy was starting to come on. He had just hurt Montell badly in that round. There was absolutely no reason or no cause. He's a professional fighter. He had plenty of time after Griffin was on the deck. It wasn't the end of a combination or anything like that. It looked like he just looked at him while he was on the ground and on his one knee down and just hit him with the right hand. And worse yet, came back with a left hook.
I don't understand the left hook at all. So you agree unequivocally with the disqualification?
Oh, there's no question about it.
All right, let's go back up to Larry Merchant in the ring.
All right, I'm with Tony Perez. Tony, tell us what you saw and when you decided it was a disqualification.
Okay, when he knocked him down, you see him in the floor, he hit him twice in the floor. The reason I kept counting was because he might be able to get up. And then I would take 1-2 points where I think it was, but now the guy is impaired, he cannot continue. He was major foul, hit it twice, so I got to disqualify the man.
Tony, what Roy Jones said was that, number one, because he ducks and dives a lot, he wasn't quite sure he was on the floor. Be that as it may, he said he never felt you jumping in to pull him away, and that's why he thought he should continue. Were you late in coming in on him, or was that just the way it's normally done?
I was not late. He could have an excuse, you know, he had to have an excuse. Or I was not late. I just waving out and I start counting the guy. But when I saw he was impaired, that he could not continue, then I had to disqualify because the guy couldn't continue.
If Montell Griffin was able to get up after that last punch, okay, would the disqualification still be in effect, or is the fact that he laid out?
If he could continue and he was in good shape to continue, I would have taken a point or 2 points. But if he cannot continue, he's impaired, I have to disqualify the man because the rule said you cannot hit the man while he's on his knees on the floor.
All right, Commissioner Larry Hazard, you have any input on this?
No, I think that the referee has explained the situation adequately enough. He made the decision. That's why we have a referee in the ring. You know, if this was a decision that the referee made, if the referee, what he said was wrong, then prove him to be wrong, and then that's when I will come in with some type of decision. I have to accept the referee's decision here. The man was on the canvas. He got hit while he was down. The rules say you cannot hit a fighter when he's down.
Thank you very much, Larry. And you too, Tony. And in a moment, Jim, we'll have the winner and new champion.
Montell Griffin. Well, you've been waiting for something interesting to happen in Roy Jones's career, and certainly it just happened. Now, leaving aside the subject of the disqualification, Griffin exposed Jones in a lot of different ways in there tonight.
Well, no question about it. Again, as the judges had, it was a fairly even fight, but I thought, again, Roy had just nailed him and maybe would have come on and won the fight. But Griffin certainly exposed the fact that Jones just isn't busy enough, doesn't set up his combinations. He just looks for those quick reflexes and that great punching power. And against a good, solid fighter, he can be outpointed.
I think Larry's ready with Montell Griffin now.
All right, thank you very much, fellas. And now we have the winner and new champion by disqualification with his wife. You tell us how you remember that what happened in that last sequence and what you will see on the tape as we replay it, Montell.
I just feel like this. I took the fight to him. I thought I was landing good shots. I was making a miss and everything. He caught me with a nice little shot in the back of the head. I got a little dizzy at the end. I mean, after he caught me, I got a little dizzy. So my head was clear. I just took one knee so I could just get my head together. You say he still wasn't hitting me.
So you went down deliberately.
Right. You can look. See, I took one knee on purpose right here. So I'm waiting for the referee to start counting and he hit me.
All right. Now you had a delayed reaction there, and what the referee said was, if you had been able to continue to fight that he would have penalized Roy Jones, but the fight would have gone on.
Well, that's fine.
Were you good? Were you acting at the end, or were you really hurt?
I mean, I went down on one knee to take the 8 count.
Right.
He hit me when I was down. I didn't see it. So anything can happen to anybody getting hit when they don't see the punch. I mean.
But you were hurt then, you're saying.
We're looking at the fight right now. I'm moving. I take one knee on purpose. I look up and he hits me without me seeing it right there. I'm looking at the referee ready to take the 8 count. And he kind of caught me a little bit. I got a little woozy and I fell down.
So that delay fall to the canvas was the effect of that blow hurting you and you could not continue?
Well, I was dizzy from the first punch in the back of the head. That's why I took a step back, took the knee. When I look up to see, ready for the referee to count, I get hit. Anybody gonna get hurt if they get hit when they're punched they don't see. So I don't feel, I didn't want to win it this way. I wanted to win it with decision. I thought I was taking it to him. I was making a miss. I was catching with a jab. His face was all swollen up. And I thought he was winning, feeling fair square.
Are you willing to give him a rematch?
Well, we'll sit down and do whatever. I want Virgil Hill, but if we have to get a rematch, we'll get a rematch.
Do you know that, or you wouldn't know, but I'll report it to you, that you were just barely losing on a split decision up to that point, although if that round would have counted, you would have been behind. How do you feel about that?
I thought I was winning the fight. I was making a miss. He caught me with a couple of shots during the fight, but it wasn't nothing hard. The first knockdown was a slip. There was no way he hit me. The second knockdown, he caught me. I could have stayed up if I wanted to. My head was all right. I went down on one knee just to show you that my head was all right, just to take the 8-second count. But I knew I was going to have to pull off the last 2 or 3 rounds. And I'm sitting down, the man hit me for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Why would he hit me? You see, I got one knee on the ground.
Just clarify this for me. Will you give Roy Jones a rematch?
We'll see. We'll see. We'll sit down. I ain't in a position right now to tell you. I want Virgil Hill, but we'll sit down and talk about it. See what happens. This for my father, Clarence Griffin, little Montell and Bria at home. Mama, I'm all right. Everybody call my mother, tell Mama I'm all right. I got hit with a punch I ain't see.
And you didn't lose your 0?
No, I didn't lose my 0, and I still got my pretty white truck right here with me.
Thank you very much. Jim?